Prior to 1914, a three-story structure belonging to J.B. Bainbridge occupied the space on the north side of West Main Street as one enters and exits Marion's Public Square. That building was demolished to make way for a new five-story structure that originally housed the Marion State and Savings Bank on the ground floor. Now, 106 years later, diners can visit the Vault restaurant on the same ground floor, complete with an experience eating inside the bank vault if desired. In the past, other businesses like Tony's Steakhouse in the 1970s occupied the space. But what's upstairs, on the bank's upper four floors? A visit to the second floor looks much like it probably did in the building's early days, with office space for the bank and other businesses, including a dentist office, we're told. With the original floors and this great view of the square, it appears ready to be used today with a few finishing touches. When the bank failed in 1930, the bank's new owner, Harry Norman, decided to convert the top three floors into a hotel. As we go up the stairs to those floors, we see space that hasn't been used in decades. But in its heyday, through the late 1960s, the Hotel State entertained guests like auto racer A.J. Foyt and his sons, singer Brenda Lee, and other entertainers in Southern Illinois for the DuQuoin State Fair. The hotel was sold in the early 1970s, and new owner John Anderson changed the name of the building to the Citadel.
When he first purchased the building, it had always just been known as the Hotel State. And the Marion Daily did an article on him buying the building, and they said, well, are you going to rename it now the Anderson Building? And he said, no, we're going to call it the Citadel. And they said, well, what's the significance there? And Dad said that in the ancient times, the Citadel was always the center of business and commerce in the area. So he said, that's what I envision that becoming. And here, at this point in time, it has. So it was vacant. The building had been foreclosed on by Saline Valley Savings and Loan in Harrisburg, and he bought the building from them just as is. So it was totally unoccupied when he took it over. Yeah, it was still operating, I think, in the 60s. As a matter of fact, here's two of the keys. The original keys were on a little masonite type tab, and then they evidently replaced some or were lost or whatever, and it came to the more classic from the 60s plastic keys. But those are kind of a momentum that is left over because there were tons of doors in this facility at that time. My wife and I had an apartment on the third floor, and we started out our marriage in this building. And then after we moved, Dad, many years later, decided that he didn't need his big house and the building too. So he and my mom moved into that same third floor, and then they utilized every room. We had access to the whole third floor, but we only utilized the rooms on the north side of the building. But Dad made he had a room for everything, a room for his paintings and a room for, Mom to do her thing. And they had a garden room that was greenery and Norfolk's pines and that sort of thing in there. And they had separate dining and living rooms and family rooms. And it was, you can imagine the size of this building. It was I think it had 13 rooms in the apartment. The elevator was working, but you had to be the elevator operator. So if you brought the elevator up to the third floor, anybody coming in to visit you, you'd either have to go get them or they'd have to climb the stairs. And the same thing true if either of us were gone, the other one probably had the elevator at the wrong location, So we did a lot of stair climbing.
In recent years, the building has been owned by developer James Jakob. But the building has more than just history. With a popular Vault restaurant on the main floor, a solid structure, and plans in place to complete the upper floors, we look forward to telling you about future developments at the Citadel.
Well, it's great to see it because they've maintained the integrity of the architecture in the way they've remodeled this second floor, and the light fixtures and such are appropriate for the time frame. And I'm glad to see that it's being taken over and really put to the use of the name of the Citadel.